Guess who knows a lot about politics? Laura Ingraham does. She is the editor-in-chief of Life Zet and our friend of the show here on Fox and Friends. Laura, what do you think of these two announcements?
I think the Tillerson pick is, frankly, pretty genius.
Why?
Think about this. Because he's someone who is not ideological, which, frankly, right now in our foreign policy, I think is really important. We have a lot of pragmatic decisions to make in our foreign policy, both with the way that we deal with the Middle East, with China, and with Russia. So the idea that these career politicians, some of them are really upset that Rex Tillerson hasn't been a career diplomat, I think to myself, we've had a lot of career diplomats, and some of them have made catastrophic decisions.
Sure. And
given advice that has frankly been proven to be quite calamitous for the United States. I think it might be, a time for this country to have someone in that position who knows the players, who knows the field, and is going to, he doesn't need to prove anything. He's already been the CEO of the top oil company in the world. He knows pretty much, every major country that we're going to be dealing with. And that is incredibly useful for this nation. So the career folks, it's like they're worried that their secret world is going to be invaded by someone who might come in and just show them all up.
Laura, you know, Laura, though, that right now you watch the legacy media and there are all the concerns. Well, this guy who's had dealings all around the world, he's friends with Vladimir Putin. He got that award. Of course, he got the award because he wound up getting the drilling rights under the Arctic in Russia for Exxon, and then dealt Exxon in with the Russian National Oil Company. But that fits right into the narrative right now about the ties to Russia. And, oh, by the way, Russia rigged things so that Donald Trump would win the election.
Well, there's a lot to say about that, but number one, the idea that you're successfully getting Russia to give up some of their territory for drilling that will help millions of American investors in pension funds and mutual funds, individual investors, and the employees in the United States of ExxonMobil. Okay, that I don't get. I don't get that criticism. It seems that's really smart, number one. Number two, the idea that he's going to be criticized, Trump, for having this man, Rex Tillerson, in this position when Barack Obama decided to push through this Iran deal that now allows Boeing to sell 70 or 80 commercial aircraft to the Islamic Republic. You could argue that both ways, I understand, but knowing what we know about the Islamic Republic, the largest state sponsor of terrorism, we've decided to trust them with this flawed Iran deal. And Obama was, crowing about how this was going to be good for world stability. And now Tillerson is the problem? I just find this to be ridiculous. When we needed the left to be really serious and helpful with the former Soviet Union, when we needed them back in the 80s, they were frankly siding against American interests. Now that Donald Trump's president, suddenly they're all tough on Russia. I mean, it's just hilarious.
I will say this. Condoleezza Rice has just put this up on Facebook. Rex Tillerson is an excellent choice for Secretary of State. He will bring to the post the most remarkable and broad international experience, a deep understanding of the global economy, and a belief in America's special role in the world. I know Rex as a successful businessman and patriot. He will represent the interests and values of the United States with resolve. That's from the establishment, from inside the State Department to the outside, and that was confirming basically the rumor that she recommended him.
Well, I think that both she and Baker and Cheney, they all like Tillerson. I'm not someone who says, oh, because the triumvirate of the Bush administration or the Bushes it supports him, it's a bad thing. One thing I have to say, Trump has had, President-elect Trump has had really good judgment. You see all the intrigue at Trump Tower and the video of everyone going in. But you really look at most of these picks, I think he's had excellent judgment. He's taken his time on the one that I think was most important, Secretary of State. He put in fabulous people at Defense. I think he's going to have more announcements this week. I think it's an interesting and, frankly, diverse experience that we're seeing in this cabinet. Contrary to what you're hearing from, the New York Times and all the rest. It's pretty impressive so far.
I wanted to ask you about this. Hillary Clinton's top political advisor, John Podesta, we read all of those emails, said that the campaign is supporting an effort by members of the Electoral College Electoral College to request an intelligence briefing on the foreign intervention in the presidential election. What do you think about that?
Before they cast their vote.
I mean, this is out now bordering on just utterly sad, pathetic, predictable. There is an inability on the left, on Hillary supporters, to accept that they lost this election. They lost, and they lost handily in the Electoral College. So the first thing they wanted to do is say that the Electoral College has to be done away with. They wanted to say that. Then they wanted to say that it was Comey's fault for putting that letter out to Congress. Then they wanted to say that it was Russia involved in the election. Anything except their ideas failed. And they have failed the Rust Belt of this country and the manufacturing base of this country terribly. And the political correctness, the identity politics, people are just tired of this, and they can't face that. So what they really have to do, and I think what this is really about, they have to give these activist groups something at Christmas time. They have to say, look, we're still fighting for you. We still have fight left in us against the Trump machine. So now it's the Electoral College has to get the briefing. I don't really care if they get a briefing or not, but Donald Trump's going to be president of the United States, and what they have to do is raise a lot of money over at the Center for American Progress, Media Matters, all these other Soros-connected groups to show that they're still relevant in a nation that I think wants to move on.
When is George Soros going to be tired of losing money? Meanwhile, you talk about things that the Democrats are trying to do, and that is get together and get some group therapy going. Mayor de Blasio, our incredible mayor here in New York, said this in a letter to his employees. Many New Yorkers may be feeling distressed or vulnerable following the election results. We have seen the concerns expressed on social media, and we are monitoring them closely, and they're going to provide some assets for people to tap into. So if you're feeling bad, Laura, you could come here and you should tap into some of our social services.
You know what? When I'm walking to Fox and I'm up with you guys in the New York bureau at Fox, I feel like I need a therapy dog to get me from my hotel to Fox because of the number of poor homeless people that are just strewn about the streets now this time of year. So de Blasio, again, I think it's look at this shiny object over here so you don't focus on the fact that New York is at a gridlock of homelessness, increased crime, and let's not even speak of what happened to poor 7th Avenue where you can't drive downtown anymore because of the pedestrian walkways and the bike lanes. Sorry, I hate all that too. So I mean, again, they're trying to show that they still have some fight in them, and they're representing people. But in the end, either people's lives are getting better in a city like New York, or they're getting overtaxed, overregulated, and it's just not as pleasant a place to live as it used to be. So I think that's a lot about what's going on. And how are we the country that took the beaches of Normandy if we need a therapy dog every time things don't go our way?
No kidding. Well, the good news is for New Yorkers, which, by the way, New York went 80%. New York City did to Donald Trump's opponent, Hillary Clinton. But the mayor has reassured New Yorkers that he is going to stand up to that bully, Donald Trump. Whatever he tries to do in Washington, D.C., Mayor de Blasio is going to resist.
Yeah, after 11 a.m., he likes to sleep in and then go work out.
Oh, my God. Now, again, New York is such a wonderful, interesting, vibrant place. And I have to say there are a lot of friends of mine in New York who are not Trump fans, who are Democrats, who are not at all wild about de Blasio, to put it kindly, this time of year. They're like fed up with him. And this just adds to the narrative of what a goofball he's become. I mean, he's this tall, looming figure, but a complete and utter goofball. And none of this makes anyone's lives better. None of it solves the problems that New York is facing today. And you know, they're going to tax people out of the city. They're going to drive people out of the city. You're only going to be, if you're a Chinese billionaire or a Russian billionaire or some other type of multimillionaire, you can live in New York. But so all the other people, they got to move out of town. It's too expensive.
Well, I live in New Jersey. Just
Oh, see?
I live on Long Island. There you go. Driven
Ainsley's here.
Yeah, it is expensive.
Ainsley's here.
All right,
I live
Laura,
in my closet.
Have a wonderful day. Go edit Life Set and go do your radio show in 47 minutes.
All right, I've got to go compose myself. Fido, come here. Come here.
Oh, yeah. We can send you some Play-Doh and some coloring books.
Yeah, no, exactly. Light Bright. I like the Light Bright set from the 70s.
Right.
That's what
Absolutely.
Like.
Very cheery.
And then play Battleship.
Merry Christmas, Laura. Thank you.
See you guys.
All right.
I do love the smell of Play-Doh. And oftentimes I'll stare at it and go, should I be the one to break its shape? Right?
There you go.